Dona Clara was known throughout the region as the woman no one could bend. Tall, with a penetrating gaze and a firm voice, she single-handedly commanded a large farm. She had never married. Since she was young, she had dedicated her life to the hard work on the land she inherited from her father. Over time, solitude and disappointments transformed her. Many men had approached her over the years, but almost all of them only wanted her land, her position, or the power she represented. The betrayals and hidden interests hardened her heart like iron in the fire. Clara woke up every day before sunrise. She dressed in her riding clothes, tied her hair in a tight bun, and went out to inspect the lands. She did not tolerate laziness or excuses. The workers worked in silence when she approached. If anyone made a mistake, her voice echoed strong and cutting. "Here we do not accept poorly done work," she always said. Many foremen had already passed through the farm. Some lasted only weeks, others just a few days. She dismissed them at the slightest sign of weakness or disrespect. At night, when everything became silent, Clara walked alone on the veranda of the large white-tiled house. She sat in the old wooden chair and looked at the starry sky. There, far from everyone's eyes, she allowed sadness to appear for a few moments. She murmured softly, "I don't need anyone. Loving only brings suffering. Men only want to take what is mine." The farm was large and prosperous. There were thousands of head of cattle, corn, and coffee plantations that stretched as far as the eye could see. All of that had been built with her determination and sweat. But success had a high price. Clara had no friends. She had no confidence. Her heart lived locked behind high walls that she herself had built over the years. The fear she caused in others was the only shield that protected her deep wound. She remembered bitterly the times she had trusted. Empty promises, interested looks, men who said they loved her but only wanted to control her life. After so many disappointments, she decided she would never open her heart again. She preferred solitude to the risk of suffering again. The workers commented quietly among themselves, "Dona Clara is made of stone. No one can get close. Better to obey and stay quiet." Even so, Clara felt a great emptiness inside her chest. Sometimes, when she saw united families around the farm, a pang of sadness crossed her chest, but she quickly pushed that feeling away. Weakness builds nothing, she thought. One day, the old foreman asked to resign. Clara, with her usual serious and impassive face, immediately ordered another to be brought. "Bring someone competent, experienced, and who is not afraid of hard work. I don't want a weak man here." It was then that Rafael arrived, tall, with broad shoulders, calm eyes, and hands calloused from honest work. He was about 40 years old and had a serene presence that contrasted with Clara's constant storm. When he was introduced to her on the veranda of the big house, he did not lower his head or avoid her gaze. "I am Rafael. I came to work with respect and dedication," he said with a firm and calm voice. Clara stared at him for a long time, analyzing every detail. "Here things work my way. If you don't agree, you can leave right now." Rafael held her gaze without fear, with impressive calm. "Understood, Dona Clara. But good work is born from respect, not from fear." For the first time in many years, a man did not bow before her. This disturbed her deeply. Something inside her stirred. Who is this man who did not tremble in her presence? The first months were marked by a lot of tension. Rafael was different from all the foremen who had come before. He worked side by side with the workers, woke up before sunrise, and solved problems with calm and authority. When Clara raised her voice or gave harsh orders, he did not get intimidated. He responded with firmness, but always with politeness. "You have a rare strength, Dona Clara. But even the hardest land softens with rain. People and animals respond better to respect than to fear." Clara became irritated easily. She challenged him every day, hoping he would give up like the others. However, Rafael remained. He saw beyond the hard woman. He saw someone who had closed herself off from the world out of fear of suffering again. And he was not afraid of her. The drought arrived strong and relentless. The sun burned the earth for weeks on end. The rivers shrank, the pasture dried up, and the cattle began to lose weight. Clara spent the entire day on horseback, inspecting everything, with her face marked by worry. She felt that once again life wanted to take away what she had built with so much effort. Sometimes, at the end of the day, she would stare at the withered plantations and grip the reins with contained anger. Rafael, on the other hand, organized the workers to dig new wells, took the cattle to areas that still had some vegetation, and suggested changes in management. Clara resisted at first, but noticed that his ideas worked. This bothered her, and, at the same time, intrigued her. One afternoon, after a heated discussion about water distribution, Clara called him to the veranda. "Why don't you leave like the others?" she asked, crossing her arms. Rafael looked at the horizon and replied with sincerity, "Because I see a woman fighting alone against the world, and I admire that strength. But I think she doesn't need to be so lonely." His words echoed in Clara's mind for days. For the first time in a long time, someone did not see her only as a harsh boss, but as a person. The drought worsened. On a particularly hot and windless night, Clara collapsed alone in the main room of the big house, sitting in the old armchair. Silent tears ran down her face. The weight of years of solitude, disappointments, and responsibility seemed to crush her. Rafael, who was returning from a night round to check the animals, passed near the window and saw her. He hesitated for a moment, but decided to enter. "Crying is not weakness, Dona Clara. It is courage," he said in a low and respectful voice. She quickly wiped her face, trying to regain her hard posture. "What do you know about my life?" Rafael sat at a respectful distance and calmly spoke about the difficulties he had already faced in life, about losses, and about how he learned that true strength is continuing even when everything seems difficult. The conversation lasted more than an hour. Clara, against her own will, opened up a little. She told him about the betrayals of the past, about the fear of trusting, and about how she built the farm alone. Rafael listened without interrupting, only offering understanding silence. When he left Clara thoughtful. From that day on, small gestures began to appear. Clara started asking for his opinion before making important decisions. Sometimes she even allowed a brief smile when he managed to solve a complicated problem. Respect grew slowly, like a stubborn seed sprouting in dry land. What began as mutual admiration transformed into a deeper, calm, and honest feeling. Rafael never forced the situation. His loyalty was silent and constant. He was there every day, firm, patient, and without fear. The greatest test came on a terrible stormy night. The sky suddenly darkened and a strong wind began to howl. Soon came the heavy rain, accompanied by thunder that seemed to shake the earth. The river that cut through the farm overflowed with fury, invading the low pastures. The cattle, frightened, ran in panic, mooing desperately as the water rose. Clara, even exhausted from difficult days, did not hesitate. She put on her cape, mounted her black horse, and went out into the middle of the storm. "I will not stand still while I lose everything I built," she shouted to the workers. Rafael tried to convince her to stay, but she was firm. "This farm is my life. I will protect what is mine." The rain fell heavily, making vision difficult. Clara rode with courage, trying to guide the animals to higher ground. In the midst of the chaos, she saw a calf stuck in the mud. When she tried to save it, her horse slipped. She fell violently, hitting her leg against a stone. The pain was excruciating. Clara screamed, but the sound was lost in the noise of the storm. The icy water rose rapidly around her. The workers became desperate when they saw her fallen. It was Rafael who, without thinking twice, ran through the torrential rain. Facing the wind and mud, he reached her, pulled her from the cold water, and carried her in his strong arms back to the big house. His body trembled with effort and worry. Inside the house, he carefully laid her on the living room sofa. While cleaning her wounds and improvising a splint on her injured leg, his voice came out, choked with emotion. "I didn't come to this farm by chance. Dona Clara, I came because I saw a strong woman who needed to remember that she doesn't have to be strong alone all the time. I admire your courage, but I want to be by your side, not as a foreman, but as someone who truly cares." Clara feeling pain in her body and a whirlwind in her soul, looked at him with eyes full of tears. For the first time, she did not hide her vulnerability. "I'm so afraid, Rafael. Afraid to trust. Afraid to suffer again if I open my heart. I've been betrayed so many times. I don't know if I can." Rafael held her hand with tenderness and firmness, without letting go. "I feel fear too, but I prefer to risk loving with truth than to live with my heart locked forever. You taught me that true strength is the one that protects and welcomes. I am here, and I will continue here, faithful, as long as you allow it." During the following days, while Clara recovered, Rafael took care of her with dedication. The workers, seeing the union of the two, worked with more effort. Together, they managed to save almost the entire herd. The farm survived the storm. Months later, on a quiet, sunny morning, Clara came down the stairs of the big house with a light and sincere smile that had not appeared on her face for many years. Rafael was waiting for her in the garden with a simple bouquet of wildflowers. No grand words were needed. Their eyes said everything: deep respect, true fidelity, and a love that was born from patience, courage, and mutual surrender. The indomitable farm owner had finally found someone who did not want to dominate her, but to walk by her side with an open heart. The greatest victory in life is not never getting hurt, but having the courage to open your heart again, even after many disappointments. Many times we build walls to protect ourselves, but they end up trapping us in solitude. When someone appears who truly respects us, without fear of our strength or our past, we have the chance to be reborn. Faithful, patient, and honest love has the power to heal old wounds and remind us that it is worth taking the risk. It is never too late to learn to love and be loved with truth. If this story touched your heart, subscribe to the channel, turn on the bell, and share it with those who need to hear a message of overcoming, courage, and love. Your support helps me continue creating exciting stories like this one. Thank you for watching.